Yeah.
Hello everybody, welcome to another Arkham Horror list video. Today we're going to be talking each about our top 3 scenario mechanics. These might not be our favorite scenarios, cough, cough, Bryn, but they are scenarios with cool mechanics that have stayed with us for the reasons that we're going to get to. I would love to know in the comments below what your guys' favorite scenario mechanics are. And in addition, if you like our Arkham Horror content and you're not subscribed, consider subscribing and definitely like the video. It helps push us up that YouTube algorithm, which makes us want to make more content in the future. Let's go and dive right in with our number 3. Bryn, what is your number 3 scenario with its mechanics?
I got the Heart of the Elders. But you might be saying, but Bryn, everybody always complains about how awful it is to have to play this scenario 6 goddamn times. And yeah, you're probably right. But to me, there's just something special about the first time that somebody understands that we're not going anywhere different. We're staying here and we're playing this one for the rest of the month. That's what we're doing. Yeah. And like the first time this happened to us, it was like actually one of the funniest, well, maybe not funniest things ever, but the first time that we finished this, this was like one of the best moments.
Yeah, it made our best of Arkham. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but even like playing this one with my family, where my brother looked at me and he was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "No, but like you see, we're doing this again next week."
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Why though?" Like, well, because we didn't do good enough.
Yeah, this scenario wants a perfect grade, so
yeah. No, and like the second time through, we drew like a giant pile of enemies, and he looked at me and he was like, "We can just resign, right?" And we're like, yeah.
I remember that was the first time
we'll just start again.
We were like, this one went bad. Let's just go to bed and try it again tomorrow.
Yeah. No. Anyway, this one is like particularly memorable to me.
Mm-hmm. My number 3 is specifically the rat mechanic from the Secret Name. Not so much Brown Jenkins showing up again and again, but the fact that the longer you play it, the more rats show up, and that they're stronger, better, faster, all of the above. I just think it's such elegant design that makes these simple rats out to be frickin' mammoths. Yeah, like if there was the swarming mechanic, they probably would have swarmed instead. But I just love the feeling, and like it's like a good the Secret Name is like a good the Miskatonic Museum. Now, Ben Stiller is not involved in the Miskatonic Museum. But
well, I mean, like he could be. He could. Probably the security guard that dies right at the beginning.
He's just mush on the ground. Yeah. We killed Ben Stiller. But like the Secret Name is like a fixed Miskatonic Museum, and I think it's because the fact that like it has repeating enemies that get stronger over time in a much more elegant way than just you killed him, now he's back stronger and more annoying than before. It's like a very flavorful way that the deeper you get into this house and this kind of like madness as you uncover the mystery, more rats are coming out of the walls, and Brown Jenkins is still as pissed as he ever was.
Look at Brown Jenkins. If I was Brown Jenkins, I'd be pissed.
Oh yeah, me too, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm like one stone's throw away from Brown Jenkins, and I'm pissed. So, Travis.
Yeah, this is a real controversial opinion that the Depths of Yoth, the death mechanic, is good.
Yeah, how dare you?
I hardly ever hear anyone talk about this one for sure, but no, it's like it's really fun. It really gives you a stat, and like the way that the enemies kind of back up and then sit off to the side, it really makes it feel like you're being chased deeper and deeper. Mm-hmm. The entire scenario is about just getting as deep as you can before the enemies catch up and overwhelm you. Yeah. It's a very fun, very thematic scenario.
Yeah, definitely. And I like that they come out like strongest guy first. He's like leading the charge, right? Yeah. So like when you run away from Yig, you're like, oh, thank God we did it. And then Yig just like elbow drops up from a level above, and you're like, oh God, it's Yig.
If only there was some way to have seen this coming.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Bryn, what is your number 2?
I really like the Essex County Express. Is it a great scenario? Not by current standards, really. It's just like pretty good. But the first time that I played through this one, it was like kind of the well, not kind of. It is the first. Assuming you're playing them chronologically, it's the first encounter that plays differently than the standard. Just like here's a monster, here's clues, here's a big boss. And it runs different than that. It feels different than that. Sometimes you get sucked into a portal on turn 1, and that's not very fun. But
It happens to the best of us.
it happens. Yeah, this one was just the first one that like felt different.
Yeah, I dig the train mechanic.
Yeah.
It's still really cool, and I'm excited for the car chase mechanic because I haven't played any of the Innsmouth Conspiracy yet, but I'm excited to have like another vehicle-based one again to see what it's like. My number 2 is The Last King. This is the house party where everything goes wrong. While replaying the Path to Carcosa with our gift exchange, it just like really goes to show me how much I actually enjoy both the Path to Carcosa and the Dream Eaters are just so good. Like with what we were talking before when Travis is going to get to with his, I don't want to step on his toes too much. There's just, the scenarios are so flavorful in those two campaigns that make them so much more exciting. So like The Last King to me is always exciting because there's that excitement of which guest is going to get transformed first. There's the flavor of the party just getting worse and worse. And I'll never forget, also in our best of, when Ishimaru transformed and I saw that mechanic for the first time. And like I fell in love with that scenario, and this scenario has still stayed with me through that. And like I just had so much fun right now in our gift exchange series playing Path to Carcosa and being able to play all the scenarios that I really like the mechanics of. And I'm excited for us to do, because I think next after this we're going to be doing another Dream Eaters run, which is going to be very fun. Travis, what's your number 2?
I am a sucker for the Dream Eaters and the flavor in it. And this one I've selected here is Dark Side of the Moon. This is the one with the alert level where you're trying to sneak around on the dark side of the moon. It's the name of the thing. Without being caught, and like the faster you try to go, the more likely you are to be caught. And then eventually you have to go through the inside of the moon and you come out to, you guessed it, the light side of the moon. Wow. And I love how symmetrical the scenario is. I love the tension between trying to go fast because you don't want your alarm level to go up with the inevitability, but also like if you go too fast, your alarm level is going to go up anyway. And you don't know why you care about your alarm level until the end of it, and then the game like kicks you in the teeth.
Yeah, the old man
If
says, you cannot come on my boat.
Yeah, which makes sense. But and it's so cool. You got the cats from Saturn who come to get you, and then there's the moon lizard on the inside of the moon in the cavern, the cave of the moon lizard, or whatever it is. Everything about this one is just so fun, and it's. My only regret is that you couldn't like drink moon meat or whatever.
Right. This scenario is based on Neil Armstrong's suppressed autobiography.
Yes, the one that you have to go to the library and ask for the forbidden section to read.
Yeah. They don't let anyone read it because they don't want people to know that there's a lizard inside the moon.
Yeah. All right, number 1's Bryn. What is yours?
Before the Black Throne. This one is like pretty close to everything I've ever wanted in a space scenario. Like, we're in outer space, nothing makes sense. Particularly why the mindless dancer has like 6 fucking fight. Like, nothing makes any sense.
He just does because what else would he have?
Yeah. No, but you're kind of bombing around, doing stuff. Do you know what you're doing? Not really. But like maybe it'll work. Maybe Azathoth won't eat everybody.
And would you say your favorite scenario mechanic is the space bicycle?
Oh yeah, no, I love the space bicycle. It's so good.
My favorite part of the scenario is how the game goes on and on about like how you realize your destiny and you know what you have to do when you get there and you're like, yes, I definitely know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm gonna die in space.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you have so many mementos, you did good. You know exactly what's coming, and you're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I love so many of this. Like, I think that Before the Black Throne's a really fun and really good scenario, and the mechanics of it, especially the space travel, are really sweet, and like how the dancers can move through space, but you can't. I will always yell and scream about the fact that you draw encounter cards or like some sort of other punishment when you pass the act.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird, but
It's fun.
it's fun.
Yeah, you get to just do it, and the first time somebody does it, they're like, "Oh man, well this kind of sucks," and you're like, "Buckle up."
So you're like, welcome to Azathoth land, baby.
Nothing about this is like easy.
My number one is a Phantom of Truth, specifically the fact that the scenario changes flavor and actually, honestly, like function depending on if you have more doubt or conviction. I think that's so cool. And it just like has a lot of replayability, even as a standalone scenario, when it comes to the fact that as a player, if you just wanted to play this like as a single, like as a standalone adventure, you could play it two different ways. So there's a lot of impact there, just even as like as a game mechanic thing. Like if I was just going to recommend, like if someone were just buying this game to just buy standalone scenarios to play, I would recommend a Phantom of Truth if it was ever in stock. This is like the weird boogeyman of the Path of Carcosa that's never in stock. And it's a shame because it's such a cool like Midnight Mass kind of thing where the game is... I think like there's a lot of really good scenarios in this game, but like from a pure game, like board game design standpoint, in terms of how a story can affect the mechanics of your scenario, a Phantom of Truth is to me the biggest winner of the entire Arkham Horror the card game. Because like there's a lot of silly stuff like for example, I was recording the Dunwich Legacy yesterday, and if you killed Silas Bishop, there's the conglomeration of spheres because he fell apart and he was all icky and gooey everywhere. And like, that's cute, but it's not like it's actually like a whole different thing. It's just a little footnote on your setup. This scenario plays completely differently depending on if you are believing the mythos or fighting against the mythos, which I think is so cool. And I can't recall another scenario with such an impact like that on the story thing. Like maybe some of the later stuff in Forgotten Age with the Alejandro and Ishtaka, but most again, that's just like setup stuff. It doesn't like change the whole feeling of the scenario, which is why I think, for me, it's my favorite and why I also think it's the most successful in terms of game design in the entire series in regards to that. Travis.
I picked a Search for Kadath because I like going to the different places and all the cool story stuff.
Me too.
There's nothing like really fancy about the game design for this one, or there's no like super unique mechanics that other than like going to different places.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really fun, in my opinion, to go around and explore the world of the Dreamlands, and that they give you an opportunity to do that before they burden you with the story that they've constructed.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's a bad story or anything, but like it's nice. That's one of my favorite things about Arkham games. Is like one of my complaints about third edition is that I really enjoy just like doing stuff and experiencing the world
The mythos, yeah.
Arkham, and Arkham third edition is like a little bit too pressing in what you need. It's like you need to do this or like super bad things you're gonna have, and you're like, okay, I guess we'll do it. It feels more like a chore as opposed to an exploration of the world. And this one. A lot of scenarios in this game kind of feel like a chore a little bit, but this one is like just full on exploration.
Yeah, if I can jump on that point as well. Well, Phantom of Truth, I think, is the best like mechanic in terms of telling a story. Search for Kadath is like the best scenario in the game at living the world and telling the story, like bar none. Like Search for Kadath feels like you're adventuring through the Dreamlands, through its mechanics, and it's so successful with that. Like, you get to visit all these cool spaces and play with them. Like, Search for Death is the scenario I don't want to end when I'm playing it, because it's just so fun.
Yeah, that one does feel like its doom threshold. It's just like a little too short.
Yeah. And it's, I'm the same. Like, I remember when I first played Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, I was like, can I play this game without the entity, like without the...
Without the game?
Yeah, without the game. Like, I just want to, like, explore the city and have events, right? And
yeah.
I would agree with Travis, too. Like, I do enjoy Arkham Horror 3rd Edition, but it's the most gamey of all of them. And Search for Kadath gives you that flavor that you really... that I also really like in this game, and just live in the world. Sick. Cool. Well, everyone watching at home, what are your guys' favorite scenario mechanics? In addition, if you have any other list ideas for what you want to see us talk about in the future, please let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.